Okay, we're starting. Restarting. And we've had a little bit of tech challenges this morning. And really the thing with tech, and I know that this is a source of concern for some builders, that maybe their customers have a hard time with the back office of doTERRA, but technology is an attitude and not an aptitude. Okay, so it's your attitude about technology that matters more about your aptitude with it. So if we can just keep it light, so I'm just going to keep learning, that's a choice. And if you're like, oh, why isn't this working? This is so hard. That's also a choice. Okay, the same choice can happen when we are striving for a goal in our business. So I have had months in my business where I hit gold, or I created a gold business with 5 to 7 enrollments, and I was exhausted and in tears at the end of the month. And I've had months where I've created gold, I've had 5 to 7 enrollments, and I've been feeling light and joyful. So the first thing we're looking at is that difference, and you can do both, and it's really your choice. And Julie, who's here with me today, is really one of my biggest inspirations for staying in that state that's in between. So it's striving for a goal, and it's staying light and detached. And where I notice that maybe people with less experience, where it's very common to people to be in the goal and like, I really, really want it and push and strive and hard, but then they're so exhausted at the end of the month, they need like a month off. Or the idea of the goal is so scary that they just completely shut down and they're just going to sort of do busy work, and I'm doing doTERRA, but I'm not really doing anything. And that makes me feel more safe than actually focusing on a goal. So what we want to do is be right in that middle place. So how do we do that? So Julie is one of someone who I think just does that so incredibly well. She teaches me all the time to come back into a place that is both motivated and light. So what is your main practice, Julie, for what is your process for the month of like choosing your goal and then moving towards it in a light way? What are 3 to 4 things you do?
So I usually 11 enrollments, to be honest with you, is scary.
Yeah.
I never say, okay, this month is going to be 11 enrollments.
Yeah.
But this month it's really fun. It's like I see it as a game, I see it as like, okay, let's try to do this. Let's make it. And instead of going into that panic mode and overwhelm and, oh my God, I can't do this, I don't have time. Is this like realistic? And instead of having all these fears, I let go of that, and I just go in it with like trust.
Yeah.
And then if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. Yeah. But that has been part of my practice. Like, I wasn't always like that. I used to be drained, and I used to be overwhelmed, and it was too much work, and I would procrastinate a lot when I would get to those places.
So what allows you to stay in that state of trust? Because I know some of you are watching it and you're like, oh great, stay in trust, but how do we do that?
I think that the Joe Dispenza meditations are something that I did, and I was very consistent with it. And I did the whole, it's really long. It's like 75-minute meditation, but I did that. There's many steps to it, and I kept on doing it, and then that allowed me to let go of fear. That allowed me to let go of judgment. And of course, I have my another like mindfulness practice as well.
Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you. We'll put a link to the Joe Dispenza. But so if someone really doesn't have 75 minutes in the middle of their day, could they wake up maybe a bit earlier and put it on as they're in and out of sleep in their bed?
For sure.
Or late at night as they're falling asleep?
Yeah, I do that sometimes when I don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just, or I'll do it in the afternoon, but I know that I'm going to take a nap at the same time in the middle, but that's okay.
So you lie down and listen to it. You're not seated in a meditation.
You can do that, but I have a hard time doing it seated.
So you want
I'd rather lying down. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to get that clarity for anyone that wants to try.
Yeah.
And then what is your daily when you just have a spare moment? It's my favorite thing that you do. So I want you to explain it.
So you know how some people, well, okay, now it's break time, or now I have nothing to do or I'm bored. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette, or I'm going to eat cookies, or whatever.
Scroll Instagram.
Yeah, or scroll Instagram, or do all these things, or all these habits that like, oh, okay, now's the time, do it. So instead of doing that, I changed this habit and replaced it by, okay, so wait, it goes all the way back to like having more magic, because when I got back from Italy, I felt like the magic was gone, and I felt like things weren't effortless anymore, and things weren't moving and weren't flowing anymore. And I was like, how can I bring the magic back into my life? And that's when I started the Joe Dispenza again, because I had stopped. And so I started that again. And just that was like super powerful and brought back some of that effortless into my life, but also into my business. And then also, you know how when you want to learn a new language, you can go on Netflix and watch a Spanish show, and then it goes into your subconscious, and it's easier for you to learn. Well, I did the same thing, but with magic. So I brought magic back into my subconscious by watching a show on Netflix. It's called Once Upon a Time. If you guys want to watch it, it's really good. And they have magic. And so I start to have that in my subconscious, and I think about magic a lot, right? And so so that's what I do in my spare time now. I go like this.
And we're talking like 30 seconds spare time. Not like I just have hours of spare time. We're talking like she teaches 14 yoga classes a week, this woman, plus oil classes. Okay, so she's very busy. So it's
not busy, abundant
with time. And so we're talking about
like it can be when I'm biking, or it can be when I'm driving, or it can be when I'm working on my computer. And I'll just go like this and imagine this flame, this fireball in my hand. And this is courage. This is when a fear comes up.
And do it if you're watching.
So just imagine that there's this fireball in your hand, and this is going to allow me to let go of my fears. It's going to bring courage back into my body. You can also do it like for someone else. If you feel like someone is scared, you can just do it for them and have the intention of like, oh, I really wish that person it doesn't have that fear anymore, or gets better with that fire, and give them energy with that, right?
That's why you threw that fireball at me last night to take away my fear, but I got afraid. I was like, don't throw the fireball at me.
What does that do?
What are you doing?
And then this hand, so both hands do something different. This hand is the hand of abundance. So it's white light with sparkles and shiny stuff, and it starts very small, and then the more I put a focus into it, the more there's energy into it. It grows bigger and bigger, and abundance is something that needs to flow. It's something that needs to. You can't keep all the wealth and all the abundance for yourself. You need to share it with others, and that's what doTERRA is all about, by the way.
You didn't know.
That's what I really love about it, actually, is that you can, yes, you're building something for yourself, but you're also going to share this with the world, and you're going to make the world a better place through that. So this is the abundance, white light. And when it gets big, and when you're like, okay, now I'm ready to share, you just put your hand up and let it go and let it flow all over the place. And then you think like, everybody in the room gets the abundance, everybody around you, all the neighborhood, the city, the country, whatever you want to give the abundance to, or whoever you want to give the abundance to.
The language I hear is all of the people that need my light can find me. And I'm like a lighthouse, and they're like, they can find me now.
Exactly. It could be your magnet also, like magnetizing your manifesting. That could be it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you share that you practice?
I mean, that's what I've been practicing.
Those are,
So, and I mean, what you see in your hand can be different from me, you know, like if you don't like fire, it could be anything else, like a little cloud or, a flower or a heart or maybe a drop of essential oil.
Whatever it is. And what Julie has essentially done is she's made her own neuro tools, and when I talk about how much Deb Erickson has helped me, and when I am doing Deb's neuro tools, things flow and they're very easeful. And when I'm not doing them, that's when I can get really rigid. So in, her own way, because Julie is like very creative and very connected to that, she made up her own. You definitely can as well. And this is why Deb's, you can also just listen to Deb's because they're already made. And that might be easier, and then even generate more ideas, right? When we listen to them. So these are the mindset. You can call them soft skills. You can call them, they're part of personal development. These are the things when leaders are talking about working on their mindset, they're doing things like this. Every time the thought comes in, oh, it's going to be so stressful to enroll 10 people. I have these thoughts like, oh God, 10 people. And then I'm like, that's a choice to believe that. I can do my abundance and be like, these amazing people that come towards me love technology and they're resourceful and they're just going to bring more light and more ease and more fun into my life. So once I'm in that attitude, I'm like, oh, I'm going to book a class because wow, it's going to be fun. That's going to feel easeful rather than, oh, I don't want to book a class. It's so heavy. It's so tiring. And Tara Bliss talks about this, that when you're feeling tired, a lot of self-care, the narrative is like, lie down, give yourself a bath, rest. But what she's saying that really spoke to me is ask yourself why you're feeling so tired. What thoughts are you choosing? What friends are you choosing to be around? It goes far, what foods, but really it's the thoughts, I believe, can be the biggest drain. Because there just can be tens of thousands of them in a second sometimes. So really look at those thoughts and then start to shift, because I know the moment that I'm in those rigid thoughts, I'm tired, I have no energy to teach a class. And in the moment I'm like, ooh, who am I going to meet? Who exciting person is it going to be? That I'm like, yee. So we can shift that. So this is your mindset tool. Homework would be to make yourself do this. Put a timer in your phone if you need to. Listen to Deb's free trainings. You can use Julie's, the fireball for courage, and this is the hand motion. Make yourself do this multiple times a day. I mean, how many times a day are you doing this?
A lot.
More than 5?
Yes.
More than 10?
10 to 15.
10 to 15 times a day.
Them.
Yes, yeah. Count them.
Yeah, I'm going to count them, but it's very often.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Also.
And also, Julie is also a top enroller. This isn't just stuff that's like, oh, it's like it really works,
It works. Before I started to do that, I was not a top enroller. And it's not until I changed my mindset that things started to happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so that's the mindset homework. We're gonna go into a little language thing to the moments in class, and maybe we'll do it as a role play, which could be a fun exercise and a fun thing for you to watch. So I'll explain it first, and then we'll do the role play. And the scenario is when you've taught a class, and you've taught an amazing class, you are now at the point of asking people if they want to buy some oils or if they want to get a kit. And it's the moment when the person is like, I'm not sure, I'm going to get back to you. Okay. And what Deb explains about the brain is that if the perceived benefits are lower than the brain's fear of change, there's going to be sort of like a block. It's resistance, right? There's going to be, okay, no, I'll get back to you. And what a lot of people do in their classes is they talk about the features of the oils a lot, or like anything, So oils are 40 times more powerful than herbs. Oils are aromatic compounds that are volatile. Oils can be used in 3 ways. So these are all features of oils, but they're not really benefits. Benefits are oils will help you reduce anxiety. Benefits are also stories. This oil took away a reoccurring infection. These oils took away my anxiety. These are benefits. So the first thing is to already prepare the person to help that little benefits cup get filled. You need to talk about benefits, because brains are just like, what's in it for me? I have limited resources in their brain, so I'm only going to exchange money and time for something that I really understand is going to give me benefits. Okay, so that's the first thing, include those benefits. The second thing is in that moment where the person is like, oh, thank you for the presentation, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if it's right for me or not. I just need some time to think about it. Be self-aware that if you haven't practiced like sales or this kind of like putting yourself out there, right away it can trigger any old feeling of abandonment, of unworthiness, and it can be very easy just to crumble. Have you ever experienced that? Like, okay, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, it's cool. Like, it's so fast, right? Like, it's almost they're not even finished saying, "I'll get back to you," and you're already saying, "Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
see,
for sure.
Call you never." Like, it's so easy to go into that. So you have to notice that that's a reaction, like a fear reaction on our part. So we want to retrain the brain. So the retrain for us. Oh, and then we were talking. This is a new hand gesture. Change.
Change.
Deb Erickson does like you're shushing a dog because she's just hilarious and her examples are always very funny. Ours is like change. So the change, and you can do this to change in your brain, is the no is now an opportunity for you to really ask them to ask their own brains what their objections are or what their fears are. And look, some people, they just really don't want it. They just don't want oils, and they're just trying to blow you off in a very loving way. That's what they're trying to do. But some people have a fear that they're not aware of, and by doing this, you're going to help them uncover the fear. So this is the practice. Maybe I'll just demonstrate it to you and then explain it after. Okay. So, okay, Julie, we're at the end of our class, and you mentioned that you want things to help with your anxiety. You want some things that are going to help you have more energy. So these are two kits I really think could be good for you: the Aroma Touch Diffused or the Home Essentials.
Right.
Which one's interesting to you?
I'm leaning more towards the first one you mentioned.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not too sure. Let me get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally cool. I totally get it when you don't want to make a decision on the spot. But can I ask you just one question before?
Sure. Yeah.
If you're not sure and you need more time, I feel bad. Like maybe I cheated you in our time together. I didn't answer all of your questions. Like I didn't go through all the questions your brain might have as to how this could help you or not. So would I be able to ask you if there are any questions that you're wanting to go, and think about, like in the more time that you would want to take?
Yeah. How long will it take to get my oils?
Oh, well, okay, so that's your main concern. So I'm going to start to write them out for you. So one question or concern you have is, how long will it take?
Mm-hmm.
Was there another thing or concern?
I want to watch those co-impact sourcing videos.
Okay, yeah. You want to watch the videos. Okay, cool. And I'll feed you one. Are you worried about them being expensive or having the money?
Yeah, I'm worried about that too.
Okay. Okay. So now, is there anything else?
I'm worried that I might have to become more than a customer because it's an MLM.
Because it's an MLM, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So worried about that. And is there anything else on this list? So you're writing this all down for them? No? Okay, yeah. Cool.
That's all my tips.
Okay, so now you're going to go through all of them. So co-impact sourcing video, say, you know what, there's one, it's 1 minute. It's on frankincense. Do you want to watch it right now? It's super fun.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, let's watch it. Okay, so that could be one. We watch it. So could you say I could cross that off? Like you've done that?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And the other one was money.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you can genuinely say with money. Say, I totally get it. When I got a home essentials kit, it was almost $400. It was really like, could be stressful to spend some money that I wasn't planning to. So is there a time, so you could also say, is there a time where you're going to be like getting like paid, like payday, or is there a specific date where the money will be coming in? It's like, yeah. So that might be a thing that you say, can I call you at that time? And you can say, in the next few weeks, if you look at the oils, you were looking at the Aroma Touch Diffused kit, what do you spend on, headache medication, are there days that you, of work that you miss when you are anxious or stressed that you then lose money? Mm-hmm. Are there, just think of long-term health benefits. So we could start to go through and look at that, and then really start to uncover, is there a genuine need to wait until payday, or is it just a perceived fear that it's not a good investment? Mm-hmm. So if we could go through the specific fear with that. And then the other one was, you need to order monthly.
No, it's being something else than a customer. Like being a builder.
Yeah. So I would explain then, we can all explain that. 90% of people that use doTERRA are customers. And, it's only like 10% of us that choose to want to build. Okay, yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm ready to buy.
Yeah, ready to buy. So the person, and this has actually happened to me, the person is then like, okay, yeah, I have no more questions, I'm ready to buy. Or they're still going to go home and think about it, but at least now there's like all those questions in their brain have been answered, and they might come back around. Yeah. And they just have a little bit more clarity. And the one that she finishes with is that if she's like, I have to go talk to my husband or my friend or my kid, she literally says, okay, like, can I ask you one more question? If they were here right now, what would they ask you? And they're like, oh, well, they're totally going to ask me, like, is this a pyramid scheme? Okay, so let's go pyramid scheme. Okay, would they ask you anything else? Like, blah, blah, blah. But I ask you, and then actually go through so that when they do go home, they can already have more information and feel more confident to share it with them. And then again, if the person's just trying to blow you off, you'll feel it. And Deb even goes further, and I have never done this yet, but I'm always putting myself in situations to make myself nervous, because I know that's what I'm asking all of you to do, is she could say, okay, well, you talked about having anxiety and low energy and all of this. I want you to hold your hand and imagine a crystal ball in your hand and close your eyes. And if you make no changes in the next 3 to 5 years in your life, what will your life look like? Mm-hmm. I just want you to do that mental exercise again. It takes a lot of confidence to do this. This is why we have to raise our confidence. And then the other hand, I want you to picture you learn the oils, you get into the community, you figure out how to lower your anxiety, you increase your energy, you do all of these things. Then what will your life look like? And again, even if they don't buy for you in that day, at least they've done the exercise. Mm-hmm. And they're starting to think in the way that we think, which is, we need to be proactive with our thoughts and our decisions and our actions to have the life we want. So it's really, you're giving them a gift. So, Deb's been saying this for years. I've been hearing her say this, but I definitely had resistance to it because I'm like, oh, it's so pushy, it's so this. But I really started to change my mindset and say, wow, it's actually giving them a gift, because I actually did this with a customer. And the question was, how important is it for you to make these changes in your life? And that just felt so uncomfortable for me to ask, because I just felt like, who am I to say this? And then she was like, very, very important. And then she was like, okay, yes, I want this. And now this woman is using the oil. She's teaching classes. She's excited about the business, and all because I could stand in my confidence and really ask her that, just like, it was actually by email. Like, how important is it for you to solve all these problems you've told me about in your life? Is it me, So you're helping people access ways of thinking that they might not be able to without your questions. So really know that it is part of the value we offer. So that is all I have to say. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
I kind of have to go.
You have to go. I know you do. So thank you, everyone. And thank you for dealing with the technical difficulties. hopefully you can see the screen, and this will be on Zoom, on YouTube, and the link will be shared. Bye. Bye, Gab.
Have a magical day.
Have a magical day. Bye. So finish here. Thank you. And finish.